Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Kim Crupper,
Here.
April Favela. Here. Ronnie Maines.
Here.
Bob Perry.
Here.
Rick Skinner.
Here.
Jenna Smith.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order of June 1st, 2026. Welcome to all our guests. Thank you for coming. Please sign in if you would like to be registered. And we will stand and have the invocation by Councilman Skinner, and then followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right, fine. Dear Lord, we just come to you again, thanking you for the day you've given us, the beautiful weather that you provided us. We just pray, Lord, you'll be with us as we discuss the business of the city, and the things we do will be in accordance to your will and for the good of the citizens. We just ask that you be with all those serving in our militaries overseas and all the conflicts that are around us. Please be with those soldiers defending our freedoms. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, please be seated. A couple announcements. June 13th, for everybody, we have the combined Marigold Founders Day event downtown Williamstown. The Founders Day event will start at noon. We'll probably go to about 5 o'clock. Please stop by, and I believe we're doing shooting the cannon, and there'll be other activities going on there and learnings of Williamstown. Marigold Day Festival starts at 3. We'll go to about 9 or 10. We will have a parade, I think starts at 6 o'clock. So it's exciting, and should be a great event. So we doubled them up this year, so it should be an exciting day. That's Saturday, June 13th. The next regular city council meeting will be Tuesday, that's June 13th. June 16th will be the next regular city council meeting. As far as our mayor's update, I really don't have much to contribute on that today. I do want to say thank you to everybody who helped put together this past Saturday's May 30th Welcome Center event, where we had the digital capsule storytelling being done. We had the time capsule for people to put mementos in, which we will bury for 50 years. Probably I won't be around when they dig that out. Someone should write a note where it is. But I want to say thank you to everybody who participated in that. We had a great turnout. We had hot dogs, and we had cake pops, and we had people visiting the new Welcome Center. I want to thank the city employees who did a great job putting that together in such a short time. Rick, I want to thank you and Ashley for putting that floor together. We had people, painting and plumbing and all kinds of stuff. So it was a great success. I think people had a great time, and it was a beautiful day for it. That's all the update I have. I'd like to go into new business at this time. As everyone knows, last meeting, we passed out the draft for the 24-25 fiscal year audit. You all should have it in front of you. I think we even gave it to you again in your packet today. And Paul Maddox is here to discuss that finding, and I'm sure we'll have questions for him, but why don't you get started and we'll go.
Thank you. Good evening. Normally when I do the audit report at the end of the fiscal year, we go through numbers, talk about this and this liability and the revenue and the expenses and stuff. We can do that at the end here, but I think the most important part of this audit are the findings that are in the back of the audit report. So the last 3 pages have some material weaknesses in it. And a material weakness is as severe as it gets in a city audit. You can either have no findings, you can have some significant deficiencies, or you can have some material
Can you
weaknesses.
speak a little louder?
Sure.
Is that Mike?
I don't know. Yep, I guess it is.
Okay.
So in an audit of a local government, you can either have no findings, which is normally the case in the city of Williamstown. You could have significant deficiencies, or you could have material weaknesses. The material weaknesses are at the far end of the spectrum on seriousness of issues on internal controls and procedures. So when we did the audit this year, we noted, I think, 5 material weaknesses, and I want to go through those with council so they understand what they are, why they're serious, and make sure that they're getting fixed so we don't have that again in fiscal year '26. So the first material weakness is the bank reconciliations. So when we did the audit, which got pushed way back, because bank reconciliations for the city weren't done for any accounts for many months, which is just a recipe for a business or a city to lose their funds. If nobody's reconciling how much money we have, is it accounted for, you won't know if it's missing, and it didn't go missing, but it could have gone missing. You can't run any business, let alone a city government, without reconciling your bank accounts on a timely basis. Up until last year, they were reconciled every month by the clerk's office. But in fiscal year '25, they were not. So when Crystal got back in here to start working on the city accounting records, she had to spend a serious amount of time just reconciling bank accounts, which should be a common and routine event for the city to do every month. Like I said, you did it for years. In fiscal year '25, it wasn't done. And that's a material weakness because that could lead to some financial issues for the city. The second material weakness was.
Excuse me, can we take one each,
Sure.
one at a time here?
Yep.
Does anybody have questions regarding the first finding?
Come on. I know this fiscal year started July 1, 2024.
Yes.
And then, of course, June 30th,
Yes.
2025. So these bank reconciliations, was they just in the calendar year of the first 6 months of '25, or was some of them kind of stair-stepped back into the late fiscal year 2024, the fourth quarter?
No, they were done through the end of '24, or through the end of the fiscal year '24.
Okay, but the question is, so some of this started in '24, or is it more so in '25?
No, it was the '25 fiscal
Okay.
year when it started. It was
All
not
right.
'24's fiscal year.
But the fiscal year starts in July, that was your question,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's the question. July
Right.
1, 2024 is when our fiscal year starts,
Right.
it ends June 30, 20. But my question is, did this more reconciliations in the first 6 months of 2025, or was some of it in the fourth quarter of 2024?
In the fourth calendar quarter of 2024?
Yeah, which would be the second
Second
quarter of
quarter,
your
yeah,
fiscal
they were
year.
definitely not done during that time period.
Okay.
Yes,
That-
they were
that's-
not.
That's my question.
No,
Um,
I don't think they were
Yes.
ever done until Crystal got back.
Yeah.
Well, that's where,
Yeah,
Crystal, you retired when?
So me and Vivian both did June 1st. So Viv had them done through May. I
Right.
believe she had all of them reconciled through May.
Of 2024.
of
Yeah.
2024.
That's
And then
where
the
I'm
new,
trying to-
and then the new staff reconciled June of 2024
Yes,
when we did that audit. And then after that, it just wasn't done.
okay, that's, because when you earmarked 2025, I just want to
Right. Yes,
clarify.
yes, no, it goes back the entire,
Yeah, the
entire fiscal year.
entire fiscal
Yes,
year.
entire fiscal year.
All right, thanks, Paul. That was the only question.
I just had a question. I think you already said that, it doesn't seem that, the money's there, it just, we didn't know if it was there, it could have easily went missing.
Sure.
But it was just kind of but it is there, like, 'cause that's, people on the street want to say, oh, all this money was taken and stolen, okay.
No,
Paul, you would agree if I said a material weakness means that financial controls are weak enough that significant errors, fraud, or inaccuracies could occur and not be discovered quickly?
yes,
You would- okay.
yep, absolutely.
That being said, of the roughly 24, 25 accounts that we have, how many of those were not reconciled properly?
All of them.
All of them. And how far behind were those reconciliations?
I don't know if I know that date off the top of my head. When
Were they ever done for
No.
that fiscal year?
No.
Okay, so they were a year behind.
They were a year
Well,
behind.
until,
Until whenever they came back, but they had to start back at, when did you come back, Crystal?
June 9th. I
Okay,
came
so she came back in
so-
June, but she had to
Yeah.
go back to the prior July of
Right.
'24 and start, and
Yeah,
And
we
this is the-
couldn't do nothing until.
no, and this is a big city, you can't reconcile those accounts, overnight. There's a lot of transactions in some of those in main accounts.
were there any unexplained variances?
No,
They were all at the end, okay.
yep, at the end, they were all explainable.
Would it have been possible to have unauthorized transactions that had gone undetected?
That's always possible. That's almost in the second finding there for unauthorized expenses, if you want to talk about that for a second. So when we do our testing, we select a sample of disbursements. Say for this sample here, show me the paid invoice, show me the approvals, show me where it cleared the bank. There was some expenses that we selected that the supporting documentation could not be found. So an
And that
invoice
was-
for ABC company, there's no invoice for it, cleared the bank, we see the check, where's the invoice, nobody knows. Or there were expenses that we had the invoices that weren't approved, where's the PO at, where's the signatures at on this thing to approve it, those weren't there. So there were unauthorized expenses.
Was there any specific department that was doing that, or was it just all around?
It was just all around. It was just a lack of control.
Okay.
That's more of your finding in '02.
That's number two's finding,
Okay.
right. Yeah,
Yep.
that leads right into number
You want to
two.
go into O2?
Yeah,
Unless
so,
anybody had more questions on one.
Crystal, just tell us how many accounts we're talking about, 23 or something?
There's 25,
25 accounts, so,
right, 25.
25 bank accounts.
Yeah,
with all different, there's reasons for all those different accounts.
Yeah, in a city government, a lot of bank accounts are set aside for specific purposes, either for a loan payment or for a project. And that's how over time you end up with a lot of bank accounts. Now, we probably could consolidate a few of those. You're still gonna have, probably 20 bank accounts, but going forward, you could probably consolidate a few of those ones that aren't in use, for their original project anymore. But you gotta get all your other stuff cleaned up before you
Yeah.
try to do that stuff. So, and number two, which we've really just talked about, the city did not have effective internal controls over the disbursements and expenditures to ensure that all the expenses were properly authorized, supported, and reviewed prior to payment. And that was the case because you either couldn't find the invoice, or if you did find the invoice, it was not approved. Now, those invoices and those types of expenses were normal, customary expenses for the city. So I don't think there was anything nefarious about those, but you gotta have the documentation to support what you paid, and you did not.
So, and I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but all that being said, and it looks like all the money is accounted for, we really don't know 100%.
You'll never know 100%, no.
And do you know approximately how much spending lacked proper authorization?
I do not, but I could find out what percentage of our sample
I'd like to know.
did not. Okay.
Okay. And then what specific purchasing policies were bypassed?
Mainly the approval process. So it should go on to a, what's the right word I'm looking for, Crystal, that goes to the mayor's office for signature?
So
our procurement.
yeah.
Yeah.
manager.
So it would have went from the department head or the person making the authorization to purchase, to make the PO, matching it with the invoice.
Right.
Sending it to the mayor
Correct.
to authorize.
Yeah, and that did not
That
happen.
was the breakdown.
Yes, did not happen.
Okay.
Any more questions on number 202?
Anyone? No.
Number 3, the company, which is the city, did not maintain effective internal controls over payroll to ensure that employee pay rates and compensation changes were properly authorized and documented. So, part of our audit, we take time cards for a pay period, and look at time card approval, look at pay rate approval, recalculate pay, trace it through your records to make sure that the payroll was properly processed, authorized, and recorded in your transactions. And there were instances where we could not support the employee pay rates that were paid to employees on the pay runs that we looked at.
Do you have any specific employees that this pertained to,
Yes,
or titles if you
yes.
like it?
Yeah, the city clerk had one.
And anyone else?
I don't remember if there was anybody else. We can find that out. We can look in our work papers and see.
Okay, I'd like to know that. too.
Okay.
And would that include raises and bonuses? That were- When you say pay rates?
It would, if there would have been a bonus on the payrolls that we were looking at. Yes, and I don't know if there were bonuses or not. I don't remember that specific detail.
Could you go into detail a little on overtime, how you would check to see if they were qualified for overtime or if they put in their time?
So if they clocked in and out enough to earn overtime, that would be on the time card or the time sheet that we would have looked at. And then we would trace that clocked overtime into the pay records. They worked 40 plus 10. We would recalculate the 40 plus the 10 at the overtime rate and trace that into the payroll records and into your accounting records. But some of those time cards did not have, which is the next one, did not have approvals on them. So people could clock in as much as they wanted to if nobody was approving it.
And who would have been the one to approve it? Who would that have been?
They would go to the department manager for approval and then to the mayor for approval.
Superintendents go to the mayor. for
Superintendents,
approval.
yep.
And were you able to identify, I may have asked this question already, but I want to make sure it was, on the overpayments that were unauthorized, you have those people identified?
Mhm.
And again, that's the former clerk
Right.
and others that you're gonna let me know.
I'll let you know, yeah. I can't remember if there's others or not, but it was certainly the former clerk. So 3 and 4 on the weaknesses are, tied together. That's all payroll processing, pay rates, approvals, time card approvals. You just got to have that system in place to ensure that people are paid properly, accurately, fairly. Is there any more questions on the payroll for 3 and 4?
Anyone?
And then finding number 5 is significant audit adjustments. So during the audit, numerous and/or significant adjustments were required to correct the accounting records and present the financial statements in conformity with generally accepted accounting principles. So normally, when we come to do an audit of Williamstown or any other city, you provide us with your financial records. Here's my trial balance, here's my income statement, here's my balance sheet. Audit those numbers, and there may be a few changes to them. They're not significant or material. In fiscal year 25 that we audited, there were significant changes to the numbers as they originally presented till we got to the final numbers. Significant differences. So the numbers that you saw during fiscal year 25, if you saw any, were not correct because they were adjusted significantly, materially from what they started out with. And that's from the work that Crystal and the staff did to reconcile the accounts, which changes all the expenses as you reconcile the bank accounts and find out there's checks that need to be recorded, so that increases your expenses. Deposits that were made but not recorded, that increases your revenue. So the numbers changed significantly from originally presented to the final numbers that are in this audit report, which means you had bad information during the year to try to make decisions to manage the city with. And it all stems back to the bank reconciliation. That's the most important thing you can do, is reconcile those bank accounts, make sure everything's accounted for, get it in the right bucket, run your reports, compare it to your budget, and manage the city with. But all started down here and just trickled through the whole process.
So basically, they only use one bucket instead of putting them all in the right places and writing checks? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just
Or,
saying,
I'm sorry.
that's okay. There were just a lot of transactions that were not recorded. I don't want to speak for you as you're going through your bank reconciliations. You got to find out where this belonged because it doesn't belong in this account.
Yeah.
Really got paid out of this account, they recorded it in this account.
They weren't doing their month ends at all, so money that should have went to sewer from the get-go never did. You know how we always done that at the end of the month? It never, they would just write a check from revenue and just not do the other processes that needed. As you know, there's more than just the one process with transferring, so.
So basically, your accounting function just came to a halt at some point in fiscal year '25. It just stopped being done.
So, in your opinion, because we have policies and procedures in place, so in your opinion, these were not followed, and you would directly hold who accountable to this?
It depends on what it was. I mean, ultimately falls back to the mayor to be accountable for the city. I mean, the mayor's got to manage the city, got to run the city, make sure people are doing their jobs, make sure superintendents are approving their employees' time cards, make sure the mayor's approving purchase orders, you know, just basic internal control.
And then, a couple years ago, the last time you were here, I think, I was sitting over there in the council, and we went through the audit, and it was a strong audit, it was good. But you alluded to some possible issues that you were foreseeing that were happening at the time.
Right.
Did you notify the mayor at the time or the clerk at the time that you saw some of these things?
Yeah, I talked to both of them about the need to, I don't know what the right word is, but the need to get the accounting done. I mean, I told the clerk that she was falling behind. I could tell she was falling behind just from sitting in the room over there during this fiscal year. I could tell they were falling behind on the next fiscal year. You got to get some help. You need to ask for some help. Yeah, so yes.
And you let the mayor know?
Yes. And I think, like you said, I think I alluded to it in the council meeting. You guys need to kind of get some help to the clerk's office, which I think just kind of put everything in motion.
If this was a large company, because in some ways it is.
It is a large company.
Yeah.
This is a big city.
And you went through this audit like you did, what would some of your recommendations be?
My recommendation would be to follow your current policies and procedures because they're good, they're sufficient to manage the company. So you just need to follow your procedures, and just, it wasn't being done.
And since that you've been dealing with Crystal, you're satisfied that that's been happening?
Yes. Got two questions here.
I have a question. So I know that we don't really know that any money was taken. It was just kind of like a big mess. I mean, is there any like legal repercussions that, you know, that the city would
So,
pursue?
do you mind if I address that?
Sure, go ahead.
We've been waiting for this report, and we had to get this report in order to go further. Quite aware of the overpayments, who got them, and from here on, we will take it further, yes.
You have a question for me?
I was basically gonna ask the same question, and I've been here a lot of years with several of us, and we've always been good up to this certain time
Yeah.
period, and then it went to heck in a basket.
It certainly
And
did.
that's what's happening.
That's a good way to put it, yes.
Well, I skipped the word I wanted to say.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, I mean, this city always had strong
Absolutely.
accounting, record keeping, and it just, I mean, it just went off the cliff. It really
I do
did.
recall Mr. Maddox telling us, after the 2024 budget or audit,
Mm-hmm.
you standing right there and you softly tiptoed in saying, watch what's going on
Right.
next year. I do recall that. So,
Any further
And-
questions?
I'm sorry, I was gonna say, and in spite of all these weaknesses, I mean, the city had a good financial year. I mean, pure luck maybe, but you did.
Yeah.
But you did. And we can go through whatever numbers you want to, but when you look at the income statement for the government side and for the utility side, they both had strong financial years despite the chaos in the background. So that's fortunate to be where you're at.
Yeah, I feel like we dodged a bullet.
Yeah. And the opinion on the financial statement is still a clean opinion because the numbers are good numbers that are in this report. So it's really two separate things. So you get a clean opinion, financial statements. The numbers we finally got to are good numbers. It took a while to get there. That's how you get a clean opinion on your financial statements. But then on the internal controls, which are required to be looked at in a government audit, that's where the findings are at.
I think we're fortunate to have Crystal come on board and
Yes.
Yes,
help us out on that.
yes.
Any other questions for Paul? No, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Well, you're done?
I'm done unless you guys want to run through specific
Yeah, I
numbers.
just had a couple of questions.
Okay, sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Fire away. Fire away.
Totally unrelated to what you just said.
Okay,
Of course, you know, the rub that's always here every year is the retirement pension system.
yes,
27, you know, that number, 19.71% on non-hazardous, and 38.61.
What page you on, Kim?
Page 27.
Thanks.
Rick. That always is, the number gives me heartburn of what are obligated to the
Yes.
state eventually.
yeah.
That it seems like that number just never shrinks.
It's went down a little bit, but it's still a significant dollar amount for you and every other city in the
Correct.
state.
Yeah.
It has trended a little in the good direction for you, but you're still talking millions of dollars that are on your balance sheet
Yes.
to compensate for that state lack of funding.
I know at one time we had a graph somewhere that showed what that percentage was going to project to, and then maybe start coming down, and I couldn't find that.
Okay, I don't think that's in here.
It is not. And I guess looking ahead, I hope that the state doesn't decide to raise that number like they have been in the last 12, 15 years.
Right,
That they've reached this point that,
yes. And I think they have flattened out.
yeah,
Fiscal year 24 to 25 was flat. I'm sorry, 25 to 26 was flat, and 26 to 27 is pretty flat as well.
okay.
So I don't think you're going to see those huge increases in what you have to contribute each month.
Yeah. Yeah, that goes, at the end of the day, you take an employee and his gross wages, this is what you're obligated to
Yes.
pay in.
Yeah, gross plus, 38% or
Yeah.
19%,
Or
yes.
19.71.
Yeah, plus everything else you got to pay, workers' comp and FICA and,
Yeah.
yes,
I mean, that's just something that just hangs there when you say, I would like to hire someone,
right,
and then you gotta look at this, that you've got
Right.
to
Figure that
add
out.
into your general fund.
right. Yeah, you're going to pay max, it's really X times 1.5.
So I always, when it's nice to hire people, but then it costs a lot of money to keep them because of this.
Right, because of the state retirement, yes.
That, we know about that. Let's see. I think that was the big thing that I always try to at least caution or point out,
Right.
that,
Paul, on that same thing, are the other cities that you represent and stuff, are they doing anything collectively that are trying to get the General Assembly to do something?
I mean, only what they do through KLC.
That's all I see, and
Yeah.
I just wondered if
Yeah.
there was another movement.
No, it's always seems through KLC, trying to get them to push the legislature to change something.
Basically fund the pension. right?
Fund the pension, right.
I do have a question that's not necessarily audited related, but as you are aware, we've contributed quite a lot of money to the KLC investment fund.
Mhm.
Your thoughts on that?
I think it's a good thing. Yeah, I mean, a lot of cities do that. You guys did that in this
Yeah.
fiscal year 26, so I haven't seen the details of it yet, other than knowing that you did it. But no, I think it's a good idea. The returns are pretty decent on the fixed income. There's like 2 fixed income ones you can choose
Mhm.
from. Those both have pretty decent returns, a lot better than what you're gonna get sitting in your local savings account. So no, I think that's a good move.
What the mayor had mentioned here earlier about, wants to recover this, had you had an opportunity to look at the risk management, the insurance the city has for risk management in the event that there's coverage for any losses?
Not specifically, no.
Okay. That's all I have.
Anyone else? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
I'd like to, do you run into this problem for a while, any other cities, that the problem that we have been through for this time period? I mean, is this?
Does it happen?
Yes.
Yes, it happens. Usually with smaller cities than yourselves that don't have the size to hire accounting staff. A lot of the really small cities try to double up on like the city clerk / accountant position. And it's unique when you have somebody like Crystal who can do both sides of it. And to have a staff to help her. A lot of places are just so small. They have one person that kind of functions as a clerk and they stumble their way through the accounting part of it. So, but a city this size to end up with 5 findings is pretty significant. Now, I have another city that's fairly large that it's like a year behind you, kind of had the same thing happen to them, had significant turnover from people that had been there for years and years. And so their fiscal year 26 audit, which will start here in a few months, is probably going to look similar to yours. They're just a year behind you in the pain.
Well, hopefully you won't have to deal with that from us again, for a while anyway.
That's right.
You're better at dealing with pain now. You've got experience.
I got experience in dealing with the pain.
I'm going to ask one more time. Any other questions?
Yep.
Okay, I think that's really it.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Next year, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, hopefully sooner rather than later.
November, December.
Yeah.
Make sure we get that buttoned up.
Yeah, hopefully sooner next time. All that being said, can I get a motion to approve the 2024-25 fiscal year audit as presented?
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Councilor Favela,
I'll second it.
seconded by Councilor Maines. Any discussion? I think, we got through that period. Certainly, we need to take these findings extremely seriously, and we have. Crystal has put together some great accountability policies. A lot of them were in place already, but it was a matter of just enforcing them and making sure we hold people accountable to them, so I appreciate that. That being said, roll call?
Kim Crupper,
Yes.
April Favela,
Yes.
Ronnie Main.
Yes.
Bob Perry.
Yes.
Rick Skinner.
Yes.
And Jenna Smith.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes, thank you. Okay, thank you, Paul.
Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
In front of you, you have I should start this by saying, in my quest to focus a little bit on the lake, safety-wise, and just as we go into the season, we've done several things. We've posted rules and not really new rules, but we've posted them in conspicuous places. We are going to have a higher presence on the lake this year from the city standpoint. We've spoken to Fish and Wildlife, and they have agreed to have a greater presence on the lake as well, just to ensure safety on that lake. It's not a real big lake considering all the houses and activity gets there. All that being said, we have a lot of fishing tournaments on that lake each year. And sometimes there's 10 boats, sometimes there's 30 boats, and nobody really knows how often or how many tournaments are there. And by I say nobody, not the city building people, not, people who are responsible for the safety. So, in front of you is a ordinance requiring bass tournaments, or tournaments, not necessarily bass, but tournaments featuring 10 or more boats to apply for a permit from the city building, City Hall, and to register, so that we know they're gonna be there and are aware of it. There's no, at this time, there's no fee for this permit. They will have to fill out an application and, to register, but, I believe it's just one more step to getting control of some of the activities that are happening at the lake. And I mean that in a positive way. Mr. Morgan, do you wanna do your thing?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this is ordinance number 2026-05. Summary of it is on the front page of the materials here. It says, an ordinance of the city of Williamstown in Grant County, Kentucky, amending ordinance 2019-05 to read 2021-06. In section 95 of the Williamstown Code of Ordinances, regulating certain activities and practices which are or may be engaged in, on, and around Lake Williamstown, and amending ordinance 1996-09 in section 95 of the Williamstown Code of Ordinances, providing age parameters for the operation of personal watercraft and motorboats on or in the public waters of Lake Williamstown, requiring personal watercraft or motorboats to be operated in a reasonable and prudent manner so as not to endanger human life, physical safety, or property, shoreline and water protection, and providing penalties for the violation thereof, and establishing standards for the construction and maintenance of boat docks on Lake Williamstown, and establishing standards for safe towing practices for motorboats operating on the public waters of Lake Williamstown, and regulating the operation of, quote, bladder boats, end quote, on the public waters of Lake Williamstown. And then the new part of this pertains to, and establishing permit requirements and regulations for fishing tournaments to be held on the public waters of Lake Williamstown. As Mayor said, this is mostly contained in section 6, which begins on page 13 of this group of ordinances that are to be amended. And it's designed to define what is a fishing tournament as opposed to just a bunch of people getting together and seeing who's going to catch more fish, to something more organized. And it's, as the mayor mentions, consulted with the Department of Fish and Wildlife to get their input. They review any regulations that may exist in the state on this. And so that is what this ordinance is designed to address. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir.
I defer my time to Bob Perry.
Well, I think that one purpose of this, a lot of times there'll be a tournament Saturday and Sunday, and there'll be 30 boats. It would stop maybe two people wanting to, or the city could regulate maybe 2 tournaments on one day that could have up to 60 boats. That, I think, would be a reason for it, a good reason for this. But thank you, Rick.
Yeah, I just think we need to get a handle
Yes.
on
Oh,
exactly
absolutely.
what is going on.
Yeah. Well, I think we've got a good handle on bladder boats and so forth.
Yeah.
So, to a certain extent.
Well, I have a question.
Yes.
How are we going to police if somebody has a tournament? You know what I'm saying? If they have one, we didn't know it.
That they would fall under the same category. There's a section in here as far as fines, if you will.
Yeah, but who's gonna keep an eye on it?
Well, I'm not saying we're gonna, who's keeping an eye on it now? So, but my feeling is if there's an unsanctioned tournament out there, I will probably get a phone call. But I mean, it's a good question. Is there a motion? You don't need a motion, it's just a reading.
First reading,
Yeah.
yeah, first reading.
Okay.
Would this go into effect just when we go through the regular thing, or
Yeah.
would it be next season, or is it?
No, it'll be once we pass.
Yes.
In the 30 days would be, they would have to get it within 30 days of when the ordinance passed?
Yes. Now, will we miss some overlapping there? And of course, we will allow for that.
And there'll be a lot.
Yeah.
In the middle of the summer, someone's gonna say, I had it planned already.
Yeah, no, we're very reasonable. Yeah, we'll,
Just, that looked like an issue that might happen.
yeah. No, disagree. Okay, any other discussion on that? Okay, thank you. Okay, we now have the first reading of ordinance 2026-06, fiscal year budget 26-27. And, Mr. Morgan?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of the council, this is ordinance number 2026-06. It's an ordinance of the city of Williamstown in Grant County, Kentucky, establishing its budget for the city of Williamstown pursuant to KRS 91A.030 subsection 10 for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2026 and ending June 30, 2027, and providing that no monies shall be expended by or on behalf of the city of Williamstown except in accordance therewith. Be it or, so the material of this budget is contained in the 40-some-odd pages of spreadsheets, mainly, that are before you, that I know you all have been considering in caucus here for the last several months.
So everybody, in your packet, nothing has, and correct me please if I'm wrong, Crystal, nothing has been changed since the last caucus meeting, or the last set of documents that Crystal has given you. There were changes from the caucus meeting, but you have the latest updated version, and it's the same as it was that she gave you last document batch. Any discussion, heartburn?
It's a strong budget. It's a good budget.
Okay, thank you, Rick. Okay, hearing none, we will visit that again next meeting. Thank you for that. At this time, I would like to entertain a motion to go into executive session pursuant KRS 61.8101G, discussion regarding a business entity concerning a specific proposal, as open discussions would jeopardize the siting, retention, expansion, or upgrading of the business. And KRS 61.8101C, discussion of proposed or pending litigation against or on behalf of the public agency.
Make the motion.
Motion made by Counselor Skinner,
Second it?
seconded by Counselor Perry. Any discussion on the motion? Roll call.
Kim Crumper.
Yes.
April Sabella.
Yes.
Ronnie Main.
Yes.
Bob Perry.
Yes.
Rick Skinner.
Yes.
And Jenna Smith.
Okay, motion passes. We will A motion to go back into regular session,
I'll make that motion.
made by Councilor Maines, there a second?
I'll second it.
By Councilor Perry, discussion on the motion. Roll call, please.
Kim Cropper.
Yes.
April Favela.
Yes.
Ronnie Maines.
Yes.
Bob Perry.
Yes.
Rick Skinner.
Yes.
Jenna Smith.
Yes.
Motion carries, and for the record, no votes were taken, no decisions were made. Okay, all that being said, I'll take a motion, we have public forum. Would there anybody like to speak from the public? Come on up to the podium, sir, state your name, please. And then, go ahead.
All right, so I know none of you guys have probably seen me here before. My name is Zachary Williams. So I grew up here, and there was a piece of legislation on this that I saw that I was really honestly kind of psyched about, something that kind of made me excited. And it was the amendment to the lake ordinance. I consistently fish Williamstown Lake. I'm pretty active in just most of the tournaments that go on there. This is something that it might come as a shock, but it is something I'm in support of. I see firsthand, oftentimes, how, from a conservation perspective, how hard that lake gets hit every year, especially this year, by tournaments. I fish the Wednesday. Everybody knows there's a Wednesday night tournament that goes on at Williamstown. Do you fish them?
Oh, yes.
Okay, cool. So you probably know the same people that I know.
Yes.
That Wednesday night tournament, it used to be where that was about the only thing that happened, about the only thing that went on. But now it is nothing to see 4, sometimes 5 tournaments a week going on, and I have nothing against them. I've fished every circuit that you can in Williamstown, USA Bassins, everything. The problem is this is a 362 acres, something like that.
Closer to 300.
Closer to 300. Well,
Yes.
that honestly that helps my math out better then. But this is a 300-acre lake. These fish feel pressure better, worse actually, on that small of a lake. You can look at weights this year. You can look versus weights last year on what wins these tournaments, and it is significantly down. I feel as if pressure has a lot to do with that. I found out about this meeting actually through a USA Bassin Facebook post, and a lot of people were upset that there was legislation that people wanted to pass about having tournaments register. Obviously, I'm the only one that showed up. So it was mentioned that there would be no cost for the registration, correct?
For the permit.
For the permit,
Yeah,
okay.
at this time, yeah.
So, which is fair.
Yep.
I agree with that. The biggest kind of question I have, and I'll hate to pull out my phone or something like this, but it's what I wrote my points down on. But my biggest question is what officially designates a tournament, or have we gotten to that point yet?
I believe, according to the ordinance here, it's 10 boats or more,
Okay.
and where there's a prize given and it's organized, it's organized tournament where there are prizes given to winners,
Gotcha.
and there's 10 boats or more.
So I like the word prizes there because it's not always money that's given out.
Right.
So I like that term. And I'm not against tournaments. I don't want anybody to think that I am because I'm
Okay,
not.
yeah, for which a fee of something is value is required for participation and is operated either for profit or charity.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So that answers that question. I guess my second, and also let me know if I'm running out of time.
No, you got plenty of time.
Cool. Okay. So there is a Grant County High School bass fishing team. I do help out with that team.
Mm-hmm.
They practice on Tuesdays. Now, usually sometimes there's not 10 boats. Sometimes there's usually in the early season we get to be about 12. That being said, that is a athletic event. It's where they practice. And then the winners do get, usually the head coach, he'll give them some baits, maybe a rod or something like that. Is that something that we would have to register or get permits for?
My feeling offhand, and I don't want you to, I need to delve into this a little
Okay.
bit, but my feeling offhand is no.
Okay, cool. That was probably my biggest concern. Just because of the fact that, you know, if sometimes the practices happen, sometimes they don't.
Sure, and you
So,
don't know, yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
Um,
We're not doing this to make things harder for anybody.
Yes.
We're doing it specifically for the safety of the lake and those who participate.
yeah, and like I said, I agree with the legislation. If something has needed to happen, I've noticed it this year especially, and something has needed to happen about that because of the fact that, you know, and you can, like I said, you can get on social media and probably find the post. And
I've learned to stay off social media.
I'm too active on it is my problem. But no, I mean, people were upset when this first came out, and that's kind of why I showed up today, because I was like to my first one, and just to hear out kind of both sides.
Well, I said earlier, part of this is, you know yourselves, there's tournaments out there every Saturday and Sunday.
Absolutely.
And I think part of it is to keep 2 tournaments on Saturday with 30 boats in each one.
Yeah.
That's extreme, and I think that is what this is for. We can say, hey, there's already a tournament that day, you have to reschedule for another day.
Yeah, I
And
think
I think you will agree,
Wholeheartedly.
I think you'll agree to that.
I think wholeheartedly, and I think most people will. I feel like that's a very reasonable number. That too, and the fact that it just like this is a 300-acre lake.
Yeah.
I mean these. I'm a fisherman second, conservationist first, and I want my kids to be able to enjoy that lake just as much as I do. And well, right now it's a struggle, to be honest with you, but I want them to be able to enjoy it. And if we continue, you know, to push tournaments and tournaments and tournaments and tournaments, you know, on top of each other, it is not beneficial for the fishery. It's also not beneficial for the wildlife there. So that's all I got.
About how many do you average on Wednesday night boats?
This is going to sound crazy, but probably 30 on a Wednesday night. That's
Do
a
you
lot.
have shotgun start?
No,
No,
nope. We have never, as far as I've been in a Williamstown tournament, we've never done shotgun starts. We do boat numbers, random draw.
my brother and I ran tournaments out there for 35, 36 years. First couple years, we had a shot, and then we said, but there's only 10 or 12.
Yeah.
And the reason we started those, everybody was lying about the bass they were catching, except my brother and I. So we said, we're gonna have a tournament to prove it. And that's kind of the truth.
But
But anyway, I'm gonna guess they're, last Wednesday they had 21, 22. I'm gonna guess they're averaging about 27,
Yeah,
28.
that's a
'cause
fair
I
number.
fished them all, fished 5 or 6 late last fall, and, so 30 at times, 28, 29.
Peak season, like right now especially, I think we had, the last one I fished was in late April, and we had 29.
I think that was 21 or 22, but it was supposed to rain and storm, which it didn't, but,
Yeah.
Do you fish in other tournaments at the lake?
I fished a Northern Kentucky Bass Hasslers tournament back in April, and then I fished I also fished the USA Bassin.
I was thinking, my question is, how do we get the word out to them when we pass this?
The biggest thing you could do is reach out to the tournament directors for the USA Bassin leagues, specifically, because they actually have this is another thing, they have 3 different series for that tournament trail on Williamstown. There's a fall division, there's a current division that's going on right now, and I believe there's a spring division as well. So, because I fished one in November of last year, and then I'm pretty sure there was also started some in like March of this year. So reach out to the tournament directors. You can find them on the USA Bassin website. If you scroll all the way down past the schedule for that specific trail, it'll tell you the tournament directors and also give you their contact information. And then for the local tournaments and Wednesday nighters, the guy who has those if you want, you can reach out to
I
him.
will talk to him Wednesday.
You got, yeah. I didn't want to like voice names right now.
I'll talk to him
Okay,
Wednesday.
cool.
All right, well, thank you so much. I really
No problem.
appreciate you coming up and speaking.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
You're the
Thank you.
first
Thank you.
All right, anyone else from the public would like to speak? I guess not. In that case, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Made by Councilor Maines. Is there a second?
I'll second.
By Councilor Smith. Roll call.
Kim Prepper.
Yes.
April Favela. Yes. Ronnie Maines.
Yes.
Bob Perry.
Yes.
Rick Skinner.
Yes.
Dennis Smith. Yes.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
I was on the dot.